Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's our first hump day of 2017, halfway through the first week. Holy cow.
Yes, it is.
Time flies when you're having fun. Next thing you know, it's going to be Christmas again, just so you know. I mean, you just blink these days and this stuff goes. Coming up later on the program, we're going to talk to Torchy Smith. Now, here's the thing that's kind of cool. He does a little podcast where he talks to baby boomer celebrities, like people from the Leave It to Beaver and a bunch of really cool celebrities, like baby boomer celebrities. So it's kind of fun because there was an episode of Married with Children way back in the 90s where they had a thing, meet the man who met Andy Griffith. Remember that?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're doing today. Talk to the man who talked to celebrities. So it's going to be kind of fun. I'm excited to chat with him, though. I think he seems like a fascinating guy. A new dating service in Florida says they will find you someone that is perfect for you biologically with their new DNA matchmaking service.
Wouldn't that be a relative?
I don't know. Do you want someone that's exactly like you?
Wow.
I mean, here's your biological match. I mean, I think I would hate
That's
me.
a little disturbing.
That would be kind of weird. Hey, if your birthday is today, guess what? So are 9 million other people on average. Every day there's about 9 million people celebrating a birthday. So not so special after all, are we? Coming up, we're going to talk about the special things going on today. It's on the way. Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Wednesday, January the 4th, Dimpled Chad Day today.
I don't know what a dimpled Chad is.
Don't you remember from election 2000?
Oh, yeah.
Earth at Perihelion Day. I don't know what that is.
No clue what that is.
Pop Music Chart Day today. Tom Thumb Day today. Trivia Day today. World Braille Day today, and World Hypnotism Day today. So, you're getting very sleepy. No, that's not because of the hypnotism. It's just because we're still trying to get out of this whole New Year's Eve slump that we're in. So, we celebrated in a pretty crazy way, by the way.
Our son, off the hook.
Our son did a Facebook Live of our celebration and lost a Facebook friend over it. So, he's like, you guys are so lame. I can't be friends with you anymore. Anyway, have fun out there celebrating however you are. I think I'll do it with trivia. I'm going to celebrate by learning some more trivia today. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
It's a new year and many have made resolutions. Have you? If your resolution is to quit smoking, I want to help. This is one of the biggest resolutions every year. I met a hypnotist that's been able to help people with this one. He can send you a Stop Smoking Hypnosis CD program that you just listen to, and it's designed to help you quit smoking. It's available at a discount for our listeners right now at radiosavings.com. Get the tobacco-free CD program for just $40. That offer is available right now at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Imagine living next door to a man who served prison time for killing your mother.
Whoa.
That probably wouldn't be good. The Department of Corrections in Hamilton, New Zealand got some splaining to do. They've offered up an apology and said they are, quote, extremely sorry that the convicted killer ended up living next door to the daughter of the woman he stabbed to death.
Oh, my gosh.
The murderer victim's daughter had apparently had recurring nightmares of seeing her mother stabbed to death by a man 15 years ago when she was only 6. The department says that they looked at the victim's notification register to check where the victims of crime are living, but for some reason these details were not kept up to date, so there's not a whole lot they can do about it.
So in New Zealand, they place where
they
the
did move
person
him
lives?
And a department spokesperson.
Oh, my goodness.
They no longer live anywhere near the victim's daughter. So they moved him to a different place. But yeah, when they got out, they were helping him find a place. And, you know, hey,
that would just be
here's a great
awful.
place. We got a heck of a deal on it. Apparently the daughter is, it's the daughter of the lady he killed.
Wow.
I just can't even imagine. Of all the places in the world that he could have lived, you'd think that would have been the last place that they would have picked. But
well, they said that they didn't have her address.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. That's where I'm just saying, randomly, how weird is it that of all the places they could have picked randomly, that they randomly picked the victim's daughter's neighbor as a place to live? I mean, It's just weird. That is so bizarre. Coming up in a bit, we've got your brain on drugs, we've got your moment of duh, and again, a lot of other fun stuff coming your way on a Wednesday edition of the John and Heidi Show. Thanks for listening.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain. and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. Parents are supposed to teach their children and teach them well, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you're not supposed to teach them everything. This happened in Nevada. 39-year-old woman was arrested on suspicion of smoking marijuana with her kids.
Oh, wow.
Teenage kids. Douglas County Sheriff deputies said the woman was detained after she responded to a report of a suspicious vehicle. Deputies said the woman told them that she was teaching her son to drive, but they said, "What's that smell?" The son and the daughter and the mother were in their car, and they were smoking marijuana in the car.
Wow.
She got a bunch of charges: child endangerment, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, possession of a drug. The 14-year-old was released to Child Protective Services while the boy was placed in juvenile detention. So I don't know how old he was, but 2 teenage children. So that's too bad. That's just a sad story that they would be doing that. I mean, come on, Mom. Be a good role model.
I felt awkward. I was buying the booze for New Year's Eve the other day, and our 20-year-old son was with us, and I kind of felt like the clerk was looking at me like I was buying this for...
Yeah.
You know, I felt awkward even just doing that, and I wasn't buying anything. I mean, if anybody knows our son,
Yeah,
he
he's
is,
like a teetotaler. He is so funny.
It's ridiculous.
No, it's a
But
good thing, though.
It is a very good thing. He's just
He said,
completely
'cause
anti-alcohol.
he turns 21 this year. He said even when he
He's
turns
not
21.
even going to have a drink. Yeah,
I said, you don't even want a sip? He's like, I have no interest. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, cool.
Which is cool. That's great.
Coming up.
But I was worried that they thought I was supplying the minors, even just him standing next to me. So
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine doing it for real.
Yeah,
It's
probably not.
awful.
Well, we've got your moment of duh on the way.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. While an Iowa couple was robbing a convenience store, the woman noticed a contest that was going on that she thought, hey, I'd like to win that.
She registered.
She was waiting for her boyfriend to finish, robbing the place, thinking that, hey, that'd be cool to win. She filled out the form.
Wow.
Complete with name and address and phone number. A few hours later, the police were at the
is
couple's
awesome.
home to arrest them. So, yeah. Thank you for being a moron. Well, you'd have to be to rob a place because, again, that's a bad idea. I don't ever want people to think that's a good idea. On this program, we don't glorify it. I hope you understand that. Because I had a guy who's like, oh, you guys glorify all these bad people doing bad things. I'm like, glorify it? We make fun of them
Yeah,
every day.
my gosh, they're idiots.
I mean, I feel bad sometimes for these knuckleheads because I feel bad that we're making fun of them. I'm like, wow, how bad would that be? Especially if it was you and you hear us talking about how stupid you are.
I don't
doing
feel bad
dumb
making
things.
fun of them. If you do something that's stupid, you deserve it.
Well, they got caught. So there you go. Thanks for listening on a Wednesday. We've got your scoop of the day on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. Listen to this. 1 in every 5 people on the planet is convinced that aliens disguised as humans are living among us. And in the U.S., 25% are true believers that there are aliens living among us disguised as humans. Do you believe that?
Not even a little.
1 in 5. So there's 20% most places. In the United States, it's 1 in 4. Now, I'm a little suspicious. What have you been doing? Who are you calling these days, Heidi? Is E.T. phoning home? Is that what's going on?
What the hell are you talking about?
I think that you're an alien. That's what it is.
I think that is the most ridiculous thing ever. First of all, aliens would not stick around. They would come and they'd be like, this is
so you're saying
ridiculous.
If you had an escape hatch, you'd take it? I want off this
Yeah.
planet.
If I came here from somewhere else, I sure as heck wouldn't stay.
Time to go. See ya. Bye-bye. Especially after 2016. I'm just saying. Hey, in New England, a law firm hands out attorney trading cards. This is actually kind of a cool idea. Each lawyer's stats are on the back showing how many clients they've handled, how many cases they've won. What would you think of that? Getting a trading card for your attorney.
That would be awful if you were the worst attorney in the firm.
That's kind of what I was thinking, too. Like, we're going to trade him to another firm. Nobody will take him. Why don't you just sit up here and do some paperwork, Mike? Okay. 2 men were arrested last week for fighting over a samurai sword at a train station. Guess where this happened?
I have no clue.
Newark, New Jersey. Does it surprise you?
No.
That's the only place that could happen. Donald Trump says he may arrive at his inauguration by helicopter.
That's cool.
So is he going to like come in like sliding down a rope? Or
That would be super cool.
rappelling in? Did you know that Jimmy Carter walked to his inauguration? He didn't want a limo. He just walked there. I thought
Okay.
that was kind of interesting. Snow fell on the Sahara Desert for the first time in 37 years. It happened last week, Heidi. Snow at the Sahara Desert. You know, it's all global warming. Wait a
Yeah.
minute, that wouldn't be warming. Cooling, global climate change.
Climate
That's what they call it.
change.
Take away California and New York. Trump actually won the popular vote by over 3 million votes. Wait a minute. You can't just randomly pick states and go, if we get rid of these guys. It says Hillary Clinton received more votes than any other losing presidential candidate in election history. So she had more votes than any other president that's lost, which is interesting. Back away from politics now. According to a report, the obesity rate in the United States could hit 42% by 2030. But I believe in you. I think we can get there way sooner. Research finds that giraffes hum, but only at night.
Oh,
You know why?
my.
Because they don't know the words.
Oh, my gosh.
I just told that same joke like 2 weeks ago about hummingbirds. It wasn't any funnier today, was it? Hey, do you have a hard time keeping plants and flowers alive, Heidi?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Well, some help could be on the way. Edinburgh University, they pioneered genetically modified super potatoes that glow when they need water, and the same could be done for plants.
That sounds super safe.
Yeah, they say they injected the potato plants with a fluorescent gene borrowed from an luminous jellyfish, which caused their leaves to glow green when dehydrated.
Oh,
So,
my goodness.
yeah, like you better water your potatoes. I can't get to sleep at night.
That does not sound safe to
Probably
me,
not.
to
And then
be
you're gonna-
ingesting.
I hope you don't eat those. I don't know. That's kind of weird. And a group of 60,000 pediatricians said that the U.S. tanning salons should close their doors to minors to protect them from skin cancer. Research shows people who start going to tanning salons before the age of 35 have a 75% increase in their chances of developing melanoma, the deadliest type of skin cancer. Now, your mother had some skin cancer, but does she go to tanning salons?
She did.
Did she? Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought it was just from being out in the sun.
Oh, no, she used to.
Did she
lot.
really? See, I can't
For
even
years
imagine
and years
that.
she did.
That's before I met you then, apparently, because she wasn't doing that recently, was she?
Well, they would even before they went on vacation, her and
Okay.
Dad would both go to the tanning beds
Charlie
for about
would
a
go
week.
tanning
Oh,
too?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He had the little Playboy bunny on his hip so he could
Did
see
he
how-
really?
No.
Would you just? All right, coming up, we're gonna talk to a
He did
guest.
go to the tanning bed, though, before they go on vacation. They thought it was a good idea to get a base tan.
There you go. That's what we all need.
Yeah.
We need to be basted. All right, coming up, we have Torchy Smith. He's on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Radio advertising works. When it's done right, it works even better. There are many things you can do to get a better response, and shouting sale really isn't the best thing, believe it or not. Did you know that when you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable? If you're trying to get people to remember your company, consider a jingle. We work with one of the very best jingle companies in the business, and we'd love to use music to help you grow your company. Learn more and hear examples at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We got a special guest joining us right now. We have Torchy Smith. And Torchy, this is, first of all, welcome to the program, Torchy. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm living here in Cleveland, Ohio.
There you go. Well, I'm excited to visit with you because this is kind of a fun thing. I remember when I was a kid, I watched a TV program, Married with Children, and there was an episode where they had meet the man who met Andy Griffith. That was part of the joke of the thing was, meet the man. And it is kind of fun because that's kind of what we're doing today. Torchy does interviews with really cool people. He's got babyboomerstalkradio.com, and you've talked to some of the coolest people. So we get to live vicariously through you right now. Over the last year or so, you've done all these really cool interviews. Now, how many people have you talked to, and who would you say was kind of your favorite if you have one?
Well, I've talked about 50 or 60 top baby boomers, and I do about one every 5 days. My favorite is Geraldo because I'm friends with him.
That's cool.
So I've known Geraldo for 10 years, and here's a news flash for your viewers and nobody else knows about this except 10,000 of my closest friends. And Geraldo's moving to Cleveland. He's moving to Cleveland, Ohio. Like I said, he's a friend, and not many people know it. He's going to semi-retire here in Cleveland, Ohio. And
Well, that's
a
really
whole
cool.
nother show. That's a whole nother show we'll have.
There you go. Well, that's really cool. Now, of all the people, now let's kind of go through and talk, because I clicked on the website and I was just fascinated with some of the people you've talked to. Chris Costello. Now, people might be going, now, who's Chris Costello? Well, if you've ever heard of Abbott and Costello, Lou Costello was Chris's dad.
Right. Chris was a youngster when her father died, unfortunately. She was only 12 or 13 years old. A very tragic life. Her mother died 9 months later, and she was an orphan. And Lou Costello, he looks older. I shouldn't laugh, but he's only 53 when he died.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, she was a fascinating person. I mean, she's a real survivor. If you have a chance, go to my website, www.babyboomerstalkradio.com. They're all archived right there, and she's a good one.
That's really cool. Now, some of the other people, as I'm scrolling through, these are all people that, that I remember watching in reruns. But Lassie, now you didn't interview Lassie, but you got to interview Timmy.
Now, there are 4 Lassies, by the way. I do a joke about interviewing Lassie myself. He's living off the residuals in Boca Raton, Florida right now.
I'll bet. So now you got to talk to Timmy. Now, how cool is that? What was that like visiting with Timmy?
Well, Timmy's a straight shooter. Timmy's kind of a liberal, and he's had a pretty good life. Again, many disappointments after your show was canceled. And then he started doing The Love Boat back then, and he was in a couple other sitcoms as a guest star. And he went on to other expectations of being in real life, and he has his head on straight. It's a very good interview. He's really a nice guy.
Another person on the list here, I see Clint Howard. Now, as a kid, I remember watching, his brother Ron Howard as Opie, and then he was in, many things. Clint Howard has been in several things as well. He's kind of a character actor that you see him usually playing a person that's down on their luck or something. It's just kind of seems like that's his persona. What was it like visiting with Clint Howard?
Well, I called him up, and he was going to hang up on me, and he said, "No, don't do these. I don't live in the past." And I said, "Oh, I understand that. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. I've gotten that before." And I just said, with my brother and I, we just go our separate ways. Okay. And we ended up talking for about 30 minutes.
Nice.
and I wasn't recording any of this. So then I said, well, you know what? You're very interesting of today. Forget yesterday. He was Gentle Ben. He had a hit show himself.
Yeah.
A little boy with a bear. And, of course, Ron Howard, his brother, went on to do super things, had him only in 17 of his movies. Everybody said, well, you couldn't work unless you had a brother like Ron Howard. But he did 55 movies, and he was a character actor, and he still is today, and he's a great guy.
Definitely. Now, speaking of brothers, Leave It to Beaver was a huge show, and his big brother, Wally, Tony Dow, is another guy you got a chance to talk to.
Right. Well, Tony dated a girl that I knew in high school. He came here in Cleveland at the height of his career, and he was in Kane Park, and we knew some similar people. And he is somebody who, again, had a hard time after the show was canceled, kicked around, and he's a great sculptor, just fantastic. And he lives out on the outskirts of Hollywood and does his sculpting and, gets by. And by the way, I have an interview with Beaver, his brother, coming up very soon.
Nice. Very, very cool. Now, do those guys, I guess, maybe this is one of the things you asked, but do they kind of stay in touch? I'm assuming they probably do somewhat, but...
do I stay in touch with them? Is that what you said?
But I mean, like, do Wally and Beaver, do they stay in touch at all?
Touch? Oh, well, they stay in touch, very much so. Very much so, along with Eddie Haskell, who became a motorcycle policeman. Lumpy, not so much. I mean, there's so many characters on the show. You got to be a baby boomer to understand them. By the way, Leave It to Beaver is more than just a sitcom. It is, how can I put it? It is the persona of the whole generation. We talk about the innocent years. and we say, what do you think you're in? Leave It to Beaver?
Exactly.
That's what we get all the time. And after Leave It to Beaver, we had the assassination of President Kennedy, and we had the hippies, and everything changed.
It did.
And not that stuff was so great in my era of a baby boomer in the 60s or early 60s. It's just that it wasn't portrayed on TV.
Our guest right now is Torchy Smith, and he has a program called Baby Boomers Talk Radio, and his website, babyboomerstalkradio.com. And it's unusual, usually, for a person on the radio to talk to another person and say, hey, you should go listen to their stuff on this. But the reason that I wanted to visit with you is because it's just fascinating to me, the people that you've had a chance to talk to, and what you're doing just fascinates me. And I thought, you know what, if it fascinates me, it'll probably fascinate others. So, I encourage you to take a listen to his stuff, but then I encourage you to come back here as well, and don't go away forever. Make sure you come back to our station. So
Sure. Retro. By the way, Retro TV is coming back.
It is.
There's stations all over the country now showing these programs. So.
Well, and that's one of the things that, when you think about how many channels are out there and how much time they have to fill, and they could fill it with stuff that's not so good, because I see that on several channels, but they have some channels that have these classic programs that people remember from their childhood. And for me, like I said, Lassie was on way before I was born, but it was on in reruns when I was a kid. And I watched Lassie, and I watched Leave It to Beaver, and I watched even like the Three Stooges, all of those things as a kid. Of course, in reruns, people. I'm not old enough to see them the first time, but I certainly got a chance to enjoy them as a child. Now, when you were growing up and watching these people, did you ever think that someday I'm going to be on the phone talking to these people and doing an interview with them?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. Although my kids were in show business, I have friends in show business. My daughter was a TV producer. My son was a talent agent, and I started rubbing elbows with many of these people. But on the other hand, the original Mouseketeers, I get the biggest thrill out of talking to them. And I told Karen, who unfortunately is in a wheelchair and had a terrible accident, there was Karen and Covey. I said, oh my gosh, you're calling me? I used to go up and kiss the TV. And here you're calling me. Oh, my gosh. I was shaking almost.
Well, that's really cool. Well, Torchy, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time to chat with me. I'm not nearly as exciting as the other people you talk to, I'm sure, but I'm glad you spent a little bit of time chatting with me.
Well, I want all your people to go to my website, and there's only 80 million of us out there.
I know.
We're still out here, the baby boomers, and we're right on with our power. We have baby boomer power. So,
well, we're going to encourage people to take a look when they've got a moment, and like I said, you want to make sure you come back to us as well. Don't get there and fall in love and never come back. That would be bad. But again, Torchy's got a really neat thing going there. Thank you again for taking the time to chat with us, sir.
I'm sure I was one of your best interviews of the last 24 hours.
You were the best of, yes, for sure. Again, Torchy Smith right there. He's with Baby Boomer Talk Radio. You can see his interviews with a lot of really fascinating baby boomer icons at babyboomerstalkradio.com. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
When is the last time you changed the air filter on your furnace? Now, don't be embarrassed. That happens to a bunch of us. The furnace filter should be changed often. This will help your heating and cooling system run more efficiently, and it'll even extend the life of your system. Now, there's an easy way to make it happen. Filter Easy, a new subscription service that delivers your size filter right to your door on the schedule you choose. It's easy. Filter Easy. One less thing to worry about. Learn about a special offer available now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Potatoes can turn green and become poisonous if they're exposed to the sun for too long. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yeah, so if you ever see a green potato,
don't eat it.
yeah, because it's been in the sun too long and it could become poisonous.
I have seen potatoes that are green as you start to peel them. There's green layers underneath it.
Apparently that's what's going on there. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
3 men who portrayed the Marlboro Man died of lung cancer.
I did know that.
That's not fun. That's
I
not a
knew
fun
that.
fact at all. That's a sad fact. Fun fact for you,
What's
Heidi.
that, John?
Even after dying, Elvis Presley earned $35 million in the year 2000. He had been dead since 1967.
That's insane.
$35 million he made that year. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
John F. Kennedy, Lee Harvey Oswald, and Jack Ruby all died in the same hospital.
Oh.
So Lee shot John, Jack shot Lee. All 3 died at the Parkland Hospital in Dallas.
Interesting.
How crazy is that? Couple of fun facts for you right there on a Wednesday.
John and Heidi.
This is Richard Lustig, the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. They do all the work. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, to give yourself the best chance of winning, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that website is RadioLottoPool.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday. We've had this conversation on this program before. We are not fans of drinking and driving. It's just a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. My wife over here lost family members to a drunk driver.
2 little cousins.
It's just a sad thing. And it's one of those things that's preventable. If you just think it through, you would never, ever, ever do this. So how do you stop a drunk friend from driving? This is from Cosmo Magazine.
You take the keys. It's pretty easy.
Well, there you go. But it says Associate Professor Lisa M. Notchvies. She's from Harvard Medical School, and she has a woman's addiction workbook. Offered these tips to stop a friend from driving under the influence. It says, first of all, be cool and calm. It says when people are under the influence, their emotional response is heightened, so they're far more likely to overreact and get defensive if you try to, accuse them of being drunk. When talking to them, it's critical to stay steady, not raise your voice, and maintain eye contact. So, there you go. That's number one. You're not even looking at me. Are you awake over there? Come up with a plan B. Make it easier for your friend to not drive. Suggest an alternate. Like, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you a ride home. Or let's get a cab.
Hey, let's go out for breakfast. You're riding with me, and then we'll pick up your car tomorrow.
Wow, that's a good idea. Next, use
Because
delay.
if you're going to suggest something awesome and fun, they're more likely to get in the car with you than they are to...
Or try to give them candy. Oh, that's strangers. Never mind. No, don't. No, don't do that. Use delay tactics. If your pal insists that they're not drunk and they think they're fine to drive, then ask them to sit with you, no drink in hand, have some coffee, have something else. The effect of alcohol diminishes with time, so the longer you can prevent them from getting behind the wheel, the better off you're going to be on that. And it says, next time, plan ahead. One of the smartest ways to avoid this whole dilemma is to have a designated driver before you even go out. We do that all the time, and it's usually me. I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. It says, eliminate all temptation to drive drunk by leaving their car at home. Instead, catch a cab, take a public transportation, or organize, like we said, a designated driver. It's a good idea, and the life you save could be mine, or could be yours, or could be Heidi's. So it's important stuff. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
It's a new year, and many have made resolutions. Have you? If your resolution was to lose weight, you're not alone. This is the single biggest resolution every year. And every year, millions of people try, and many fail. I met a hypnotist that's been able to help people with this one. He can send you a weight loss hypnosis program on CD that you just listen to, and it's designed to help you reduce the cravings. It's available at a discount for our listeners right now at radiosavings.com. Get the weight loss CD program for just $50. That offer is available now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Your movie choice may give you a hankering for buttered popcorn binges, Heidi. A recent study says thrillers and horror flicks were more likely than romances and comedies to bring viewers cravings for popcorn and fatty
Every
snacks.
movie, you have to have
You don't
popcorn.
have
It's
to.
the rules.
Blame the stress triggered by the action-packed films. There we go. I don't know what I was trying to say. It releases cortisol, which then increases the desire for these kinds of foods. This is according to Cornell University's Food and Brand Lab. They say, if you must munch, buy the children's-sized popcorn. Small portions of the snack can be just as satisfying as these giant servings, and they can have a lot fewer calories. So there you go. Is anybody going to the movies going, hey, I want to make sure that I'm, doing the healthy thing. I think isn't that the whole point? Can you squirt some more butter on there? Just on her side, though. I'm trying to eat the healthy side. I don't know. I think sometimes we need to just calm down on some of this stuff. Mm-hmm. We should go to a movie. We haven't been to a movie in a long time. It's been months. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
The scientists in Denmark are working on teleportation. Wow. Beam me up, Scotty.
That's not a good idea.
Okay. It says here, the scientists have teleported information from light to matter, bringing quantum communication and computing closer to reality.
Oh, so we're not talking about people.
No, until now, scientists have only... Well, but listen to this. Until now, scientists have only been able to teleport similar objects such as light or single atoms over short distances from one spot to another in a split second. However, this is happening in Copenhagen University in Denmark. They've made a breakthrough by using both light and matter. While they say no one is likely to be beamed anywhere soon, this could mean big advancements in computers and transmitting data. So it's sending information somewhere instantly, utilizing, fiber optics and whatnot. So it's
But
really
you can
kinda
already
cool.
send information instantly with computers.
But it's not instant. But with these guys, they're going, it's instantly.
Oh,
It's
that's
like
ridiculous.
going from here to here instantly.
Stupid.
Rather than, traveling the...
Yeah. Because it
slow-
takes so long.
Took like 5 seconds to get that here from Denmark.
Stupid.
Come on, people.
When they
Speed
are
it
ready
up.
to beam people, I am not going to volunteer to
Me
be the
neither.
first one for
No.
that
Ever
experiment.
since I watched the movie The Fly, I'm thinking, I'm not so interested in that. That did not
Arrive somewhere your intestines are on the outside of your body.
Did not work out well for Jeff Goldblum. All right. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
It's a new year, and many have made resolutions. Have you? If your resolution was to quit drinking or to kick a drug habit, we want to help. Our friends at Keystone can help you determine the best program for your particular needs. This is something that really matters to me. My father was an alcoholic. He lost his battle at age 49. That's just too young. If you're searching for help, I hope my friends at Keystone can help you find the help you're looking for. Call 844-204-1055. That's Keystone, 844-204-1055.
John and Heidi.
Have you ever suffered from butt first syndrome? Should I explain it first?
Maybe. Just a little.
This sounds way worse than it really is. An odd syndrome called butt first syndrome is more prevalent in mothers than anyone else. They call it that because, okay, let's say you're deciding to do the laundry, but you start down the stairs and you see newspapers on the table. You say, okay, but first I'm going to do the newspaper thing. And then on your way to put the newspapers away, you notice mail and you go, okay, but first I'm going to do this. And then I go, oh, there's some bills in the mail, but first I'm going to do the bills. You ever do that?
Yes. All the time.
So you get sidetracked.
And so do you. You're worse at it than I am.
I live a butt first life. That sounds terrible. It's just one T on butt, just so you know that. This is really coming off the wrong way. I start working on things all the time, and then I get sidetracked because I'm like, oh, hey, before I do that, I'm going to do this. But first I'm going to do this. And first I'm going to do this. And then I have, so many things that I never get around to. So they're talking about this. The cat needs food, blah, blah, blah. But first, anyway, so do you suffer from butt first syndrome, Heidi?
Not as bad as you do, no. But yeah, absolutely. I think we all do a little bit.
I think we should move on now. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We appreciate you joining us on a Wednesday.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think this is pretty good news. This is actually, first of all, really sad, but then the ending is really happy. Do we ever have stories like that where it starts out not sounding like good news, but then
Yes.
turns into good news all the time? Well, there was a young lady that had something awful happen to her and her family, but the community came out to support them. So a community came out to support a neighbor that was the target of vandalism. Somebody spray painted a swastika on the family's garbage can.
Oh, man.
They believe for religious reasons because they're Jewish. The family has lived in the neighborhood for over 20 years. They've never been the target of anything like this based on their religion ever. They painted over the swastika with some flowers and some positivity, and that caught on to the entire neighborhood. Everybody else in the neighborhood said, you know what, we're going to paint our garbage cans too. Because everybody else had just boring garbage cans, and then they spray painted this, and these guys painted theirs, and it stood out even more. And they're like, you know what? We're all going to do this.
Yeah,
so
that's nice.
There were messages of love and hope and positivity that go up and down that street now because somebody tried to throw something negative out there. And I just think it's sad that they would do that.
There are some horrible people out there.
I just don't understand that, guys. I mean, just love one another. And here's the thing. I understand that, again, this lady is Jewish. I'm a Christian. I still love her. I have no reason not to. So we should all just love one another. That's one of the things that if you read the New Testament, the entire New Testament, the entire message is nothing more than love one another. That's really what it's all about. Treat others the way you want to be treated. And I think if everybody did that, even if it's not for religious reasons, if you just said, you know what, out of decency, I want to treat people the way that I'd like to be treated, imagine what a great world we'd live in. Wouldn't it be a whole lot better?
It would.
I think so too. So there you go. I think that's cool. I've got this video at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. There's a link to it there. You can watch it. And some of these people are pretty darn good with the paintbrush. They've got some cool looking garbage cans. Now I'm thinking I need to paint our garbage cans.
First, we have to get garbage cans.
Now I'm thinking we should get a garbage can. We've got garbage cans. We just got to use them. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We play a little fun game called Garbage Jenga. We let it stack up in the garbage in the house until it's like almost touching the ceiling.
I'm really good at garbage Jenga.
I'm getting worse
you
at
almost
it.
always lose.
I always lose because I know I'm going to do it in the end anyway. So I'm like, it's not even full. I'm going to take this out. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.